Hi, how are you doing? This is Pastor Cheryl. I'm sorry I haven't been on a couple of days because my dog died. And so we've been busy with funeral preparations. We have funerals for dogs. Yes, we do. And some people, that's all I have. That's my family. I have my dogs, and this is all I ever have. And so I don't have any kids. Those are the children. So there was a guy that was supposed to show up like today to pick up the body, take it over to the cemetery. We have a cemetery, a pet cemetery behind our chapel. And I was going to show him where we were going to, bury her. And he didn't show up. I don't know what it is with help today. He just didn't show up. Don't understand. And so, we'll see if he calls and actually can get the job done. You think he can actually get it done? And anyway. But anyway, this is a Bible study. We have going through this scripture here. It's about serving God or mammon. Mammon means money. And Matthew 6:24 and Luke 16:13. No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he would be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. Luke 16:13 says, no servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. So it's almost word for word identical. It says you cannot serve God and mammon. Matthew, Luke. When I was a kid, my dad used to say, you got to get your priorities straight. And he was very religious, like everybody else in the family. And so he believed that you had to get your priorities straight, and priorities was God first, family second, job third. And so he said that was his priorities. So he used to get up early in the morning and read his Bible. And we'd go downstairs. We had kind of a living room. We had a split foyer home, and we had a really big family room downstairs. And a lot of people have basements. We had a living room. It was kind of like half down, but it was well lit, and it was nice. And so he was down there reading his Bible, and he said that he used to have, his priorities used to be the family came first, God came second, the job third. And so he had to readjust his priorities. No, I think he had family, job, then God at one time. And he decided to rearrange them and put God first in his life. And so it says you can't serve God and mammon. I come from a long line of going back. We immigrated here, the United States, in the 1860s, during the Civil War. We have some Civil War stories. I had a great-great-grandfather that had a big sword, big Confederate sword. And my grandfather used to bring it out of the closet and say, hey, look at this. And so Dad wanted it, and he hung it on the wall. He thought that was cool, hang this thing on the wall. And then he made it so that no one could pull the sword out of the sheath, because he thought someone might actually get hurt on that. You know how children are. And so he dulled down the blade and made sure it was jammed in there real good so that no one could get hurt. And when you have a family, you got to think about those things. But, serving God and mammon. what's your thing? You know, what are your priorities like? We were raised in a Christian family, and we were not fundamentalists. We're Methodists and became United Methodists back in the 60s. We were middle of the roaders. That's fine. We were devout believers. Incidentally, when they say born again, Billy Graham coined that phrase back in the 60s on TV when he had his crusade, like Crusade for Christ and Campus Crusade for Christ, things like that. He was using that scripture where Nicodemus is talking to Jesus, and they use that born again phrase. Prior to that, and I come from a long line of circuit riders, we talked about believing, being devout, believing, really believing. And sometimes you kind of grow into belief. It's not an overnight thing. You know, it's not a Saul of Tarsus sort of thing where you get like hit with a light, get knocked off your horse. No, it's not necessarily like that. Sometimes you grow in your faith and you grow into believing. But what's important is that you believe. That is what's important. And so, anyway, we will see you tomorrow. I'll see you. Bye-bye.